Oh my gosh, we have buildings being burnt down, funerals, and I think people are coming together at the end for the greater good. Stay tuned.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Wu-Tang, Wu-Tang, Wu-Tang. What's going on, y'all? Thanks for having us. We're here at AfterBuzz TV, here to talk about Wu-Tang and American Saga, episode 2 and 3, Winter Wars In, all in together. Now, I'm your host, Chef Beans. You can see me on The Shy. I was on The Act, and now we're here to talk about Wu-Tang because I'm thoroughly immersed in this information. And to my left, we have the lovely...
What shows do I do, bruh?
Oh, you are in The Harlot, The Shy,
on my block.
On my block.
I do my thing up this joint. You understand me?
Nah, you do your thing.
Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Kitty Kaboom.
Kitty Kaboom dropping bombs on us every day.
Already,
yes.
already.
Give her
Thank
her
you.
flowers. Give her her flowers.
Thank you very much.
Yes, Kitty. Oh, man. Yeah, so today we're going to talk Street Wars, unity, and the power of the black woman. I'm very excited about that one.
Oh,
so, Kitty, what are your overall thoughts about these 2 episodes?
So, I was thoroughly entertained once again, right? I understand that there is a documentary that I'm most certainly going to take a gander at.
Right.
I can't wait to check that out to be able to kind of make some comparisons between the two. But because this is a scripted project, I really enjoy. I kind of get drawn in to like the writing and the sets and all the other stuff that goes along with a good project. As I said, thoroughly enjoyed it, and I thought it was dope to be able to see kind of what they went through in terms, like I just made the assumption, and I'm so glad to find out what the real is, that they all just kind of came together collectively, right? Like there was some organic, like, hey, want to start a rap group? Me too. Let's do it.
Right.
Not even, you know what I mean? Like they was really at each other's throats, a lot of them, and obviously there was one glue wielding member that said, y'all can keep fighting if you want to, but I'm the glue that holds us all together. I'm the one that's making it okay for us to all decide collectively to be great.
Right.
And I love it.
No, absolutely. I enjoy both of these episodes as well because you're kind of seeing the uprise to how they became so massive. And these are all very street gritty dudes. So you're seeing play by play exactly what happened in order for all of them to kind of say, like, look, we're talented. Yeah. And if we keep going down this road, we see how this is going to end. But let's kind of use the artistic side of us to kind of bring our superhero powers together.
That's exactly right. Sorry about that, y'all.
Let's jump into the first topic, which we're going to talk Street Wars. And as we see from the first episode, we saw that ended with Dennis finding Shah's gun, finding his gun in the crate. And at the beginning of this episode, we see them transitioning to meet the new plug. The plug to get the weight. So how do you feel about that scene?
I mean, I felt badly for them, you know what I mean? Because we both know, everyone watching can see how difficult this is for the guy that later becomes RZA,
right, Bobby.
But his real name is Bobby D. It's difficult. Bobby wants to do right by his brother. He knows that his brother's gonna put the screws on him if he don't do right by him. So he wants to be a part of that movement, but that's not what drives him. That's not what makes him happy. Like that's not his place of joy. So to go in there and then be short with the money and have to kind of scrape together the coin to get the bag, the this, the that, then his man, he's the pop off. The mouth is always there. So he's putting in his 2 cents. I just, my heart hurt a little bit for him because I know he wanted to throw his hands up in there and be like, I don't even want to do this shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'd much rather be making beats with my new SP 1200, like PS SP, one of those.
Yeah, SP 1200.
Thank you. Yeah. So it hurts a little bit, but you got to do what you got to do in order. As he said, we're not here, as his brother told him when they were kids. We don't do stuff from a place of feeling. We do stuff because we're survivors, and that's what we have to do is survive. So he knows what it takes in order to get on there, but it did kind of pull at my heartstrings, especially since Homeboy was being such, I don't know, I guess you can't be soft, right?
Yeah, well, Dennis is trying to basically uphold the name of what Divine told him before while he was in jail. He's like, look, I'm going to need you to actually have your feet on the ground because my brother head is in the clouds. Exactly. So what Dennis is trying to do is still maintain that grit. Like, look, we're not soft over here. But at the same time, it could into the demise of everything that they're building anyway, because there's no half stepping when it comes to the street world.
Exactly.
Like Devon said, either you're in it or you're not. But like you said, you can see Bobby D is like, he's not present. Like, he wants to do what he has to do to take care of the family, even if he has to take on his brother's weight, but he's not really into this whole street war thing.
Exactly.
And it's ironic that Shy and his partner were there right before them getting weight. So everybody's going to the same...
What do you call him? Shy? S-H?
No, Raekwon.
Shy.
Yeah, Shy.
Okay.
That's my little accent, Shy.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm just making sure I'm saying it right.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
so Shy, you can, like, they're still battling with each other. They have a war between, like, who's going to catch who first.
Exactly.
But they're all still going to the same source, because at the end of the day, business needs to be taken care of. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I thought that was funny when it comes to street war. But let's transition to homeboy with the colorful shoes. I'm trying to think of his name.
Oh my gosh, how could we forget his name? He's so important.
Jason. His real name is Jason, but they call him Ja.
Son.
Yeah.
Ja Son. Yeah. He was pretty amazing.
Right. He was pretty amazing, but we can see that he's still very impressed with the materialistic things in the street life. They pull up on the church to try to catch.
How much you think them chains cost, B?
Right.
You know what I mean?
And you can see the sparkle in his eyes. So I know from that specific scene that he was about to take some type of action. What about you? What did you think about that scene?
No, I knew that was coming. I didn't think that he was going to do it that very day, but I mean, no time like the present, right? Mm-hmm. And matter of fact, I didn't think he was going to do. I thought that so when he said that little slick, how much you think those cost, and you can tell that he's kind of lusting out. He lusts after his girl. He's coveting his man, basically, right? Like, they don't have any ties, so it's not like he feels an allegiance to this cat. And clearly he kind of wants to be him in some respects. It looks like both of them do while they're sitting in the car. I expected him to do something. I just didn't see that coming. I didn't think he had balls like that. Like, I didn't think that he would pull up on nobody.
You thought he was just like silly?
Yeah, I thought he was,
I thought that
he
too,
tell everybody, he makes everybody. Like, it's kind of the class clown. So I didn't think he had it in him to pull up with a shotgun. You know what I mean? Talk about give me all your whatever. Plus, y'all be on the same block, my dude.
Like, everybody knows.
I just don't get how there's any logic involved in that. You want this so badly that you negate the fact that you're going to be found out. Like, even if dude didn't peep the kicks, he's going to find out who did it, because it ain't but this big around this piece.
Right.
Like,
Staten Island is very tiny.
Exactly.
And that amount of jewelry in that fashion, people are going... The streets talk.
It ain't like he took it and sold it.
Right.
This cat put it on, opened his jacket, like, what's good?
Yeah.
What did you expect to happen? I mean, I didn't think he was going to take his life for it, but that's all ego. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with... He got the chains back. It wasn't even about that. It was just the fact that you came in my home, you saw me, you know what I'm saying, in the midst of doing my thing with my girl. It just was a bad look all the way around. Like, how dare you try to embarrass me? I'm Top Gun.
Right.
So yeah, it was nothing but revenge to the 10th power, and it's sad, obviously. And everybody came out for the funeral. Right. Everybody showed up because he was much loved in the neighborhood.
Yeah, like you said, the class clown that you can tell has this... I'm not gonna say necessarily angelic, but even some people who are caught up in the street can still have a spark about them. Like, regardless to what you got going on.
Yeah.
In the dark side, we can still see the light in you.
No
and
question.
Clearly that was Ja's son. You know
Even
what I mean?
the Italians, remember when he came in?
Yeah.
Everybody was like, yo, this kid is a menace, yo. Get him out of here.
Yeah.
And he was like, what are you talking? He's funny. He says funny things. I thought that was so spot on and perfect.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, and the fact that he got love from guys that you would not necessarily... Well, you wouldn't even expect him to come in and kind of be that kind of person around them.
Right.
Just because... Oftentimes, race can divide us in so many ways, and culture and so forth, that sometimes stepping on somebody else's toes to try to befriend them can be looked at as disrespectful.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I love the fact that he didn't see that as disrespect at all. More like, well, he's a kid. He's having fun. He's a funny guy. Let him rock. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. And what you're going to see in the documentary, they talk about how Staten Island is so divided between race. Like, you have your black side and you have the white side. And with that, I'm not sure if his mother was working in that side of Staten Island.
Right.
But like you said, him being like that kid, and even though this is around a time where race was still heavily being pressed, they still like, he's a kid. Like, let's not even take this guy serious. Boom, his life gets taken. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that was just another example of how the war and the malice in the community never stops.
Exactly.
But now let's talk about the flame of their trap house, because they got the drugs, they getting money. RZA / Bobby D is able to save up for the SP 1200.
Right. He's
all
ready
that
to
stuff.
go.
Music, things is booming.
Right.
Dennis is taking his girl out to eat. Everything is fly.
Right.
But it's still war.
And Dennis is so freaking headstrong, yo. Like, nobody can talk any sense into this guy. So
True.
the good news is that he allows himself to be vulnerable with his girl. At least he has somebody in his life that he relies on and confides in. But what's really messed up is that you allow your anger to take over and supersede common sense.
Right.
So you don't went and burn this man's entire face up because you knew he was doing that crack. You know what I mean? Despite him denying it, you
Very
knew he
impulsive.
was doing it. Super impulsive. You don't burn this man's face. What you thought? Like, he just gonna take anything? I mean, granted, unfortunately, the thought process for most people with crackheads is that they're not gonna retaliate. You know what I mean? That they're less than us or somehow subhuman, so they don't deserve the same kind of respect. But at the end of the day, clearly this cat got a problem. If you don't want him on payroll anymore, that's one thing.
Right.
But for you to physically abuse this guy and expect no retaliation is ridiculous.
Right.
So he snitched.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's what they do. And the next thing you know, that snitching has taken you down, all the way down. I'm not gonna front though. While I was watching, I was like, who got the money though?
Right.
That would have been the first thing I thought of. I'm sorry, this is crazy, and yes, we need to save our lives, but I'm in the room. Before I go out of this room and see the flames, I'm feeling the heat and all that. Let me get my paper.
Well, you see, it was where they had the money and everything.
Under the chair.
Well, yeah, under the wood, but there was wood, like it was under like a super compartment. But
no, he could have moved that chair.
I understand, but you saw he was just trying to he woke up out of like a sleep.
I know. He was in there jamming. He was listening to music. I don't know. How do I know what I would have done in that circumstance? It's easy to say, right? I'm on the outside looking in, but all I kept thinking was, your brother is gonna kill you, yo. The stash and the money.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
But you see, he made the necessary decision as far as this project or this toy that he's been saving up for. Like, he got the SP 1200, but at the end of the day, he had to do what he had to do for the family, because at the end of the day, lights gotta stay on. Stomach's got to get fed.
That's why I don't understand how you didn't grab the money.
Because he was trying to save his life. And he was in the heat of the moment, no pun intended.
Oh, that's messed up.
He's in the heat of the moment. So he had to get out of there and just figure it out. And as we can see, with all these different wars going on externally, there's still wars going on internally.
Oh, yeah.
And, especially with them in this community, they all just trying to figure it out.
Exactly.
I have talents, but this has to be done. Or trying to be in the clouds, but you have people telling me that their clouds don't exist, so I got to keep my feet on the ground. So it's just a lot of wars that constantly go on internally in the black community with a lot of people. Because I know, especially when you have family that's heavily involved into that, you can be whatever, like the best writer in town. But if you're 7 years old or 8 years old and people are giving you certain things and telling you what to do, you kind of get sucked up into that.
Of course,
you know
especially at that age.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the formidable ages. That's when your personality is formed. That's when you decide what route you want to take in life. Even if it's not clear path, you still know, I'm more prone to be this person than that person.
Right.
So if the things that are being fed to you are all coming from a negative connotation, you're not every time, you know what I mean? There are definitely anomalies, like Bobby D. He is kind of an anomaly.
No, absolutely.
He got his butt beat by his auntie. Lots of stuff happened to that baby early on.
Right.
And instead of acting out or being kind of over the top and what's the word when you push back on something? Defiant.
Right.
And fights and all that stuff. He let music guide him in a different way.
Absolutely.
So he is a bit of an anomaly that way. But not everybody's got that. And it's funny because on the outside looking in, it might appear that his brother is stronger than him. But in my personal opinion, his brother's the weak one.
Right.
Because he allowed the streets to take him.
Right.
He allowed himself to be caught up in that. He probably had dreams.
Or accepted it, or just accepted it
for what it was. Exactly.
Right.
He was just like, well, this is the way it is. I'm going to be the best at it. I'm going to make the most money. And I'm going to do my thug thizzle.
Right.
But what were your dreams? What did you want out of life? What did you see yourself becoming outside of this arena? Like, if this wasn't your life, if sky's the limit, if money was not an object, what would you have become? I don't think he even allowed himself to think that far.
Well, what I've come to realize is courage is definitely subjective. And with that, you can either say, I have courage because I'm able to pull out a gun on somebody if I need to. And it's another level of courage being like, I have a certain amount of courage to think outside the box, to realize that this is not what I'm going to deem acceptable in what society is. So let me dig within myself to see what's my true life purpose.
Right.
So they both can define courage in a different way. But I like what you said about Bobby D having more strength, because Bobby D is just kind of like, no, I'm an artist. I'm talented.
Exactly.
I got to hold on to this. So, I mean, we saw how war really took hold of a lot of them throughout this episode. But I mean, do you have anything that you want to say to the people about what this studio has done for us? I was thinking of so many different things.
I was just like, wait, Wu? Are we going with the Wu now?
It was a war going on inside of me, but...
Well, I'm glad you were able to pull yourself out of that.
I had to pull myself out of it.
Hand it over. Give me that baton. I appreciate you, brother.
Yes.
Yes, let me talk to you real quick. We appreciate you. We really do. We are so grateful to have you guys tune in. We're so grateful to have this platform to speak to you on. AfterBuzz TV has literally become the ESPN of TV talk, and we cannot be happier about it. Honestly, every week we show up and we show out. We hope that you will engage in us. We love having these discussions with you. Please give us 5 stars, 5 thumbs up, leave your comments, engage with us, be a part of this situation. We created this to have a conversation, and we're super grateful that you guys are tuning in. So we hope you like the show, because we love it.
Right.
And we love to be able to discuss it with you as often as possible. And yeah, just thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And I want to say thank you for helping me rise above this internal war that was going on inside of me.
Glad I can help you with that, brother.
So let's just
super happy about that.
Yes, we had a lot of unity. And speaking about unity, let's talk about unity in this episode.
U19 one.
You gotta let them know.
That's what I'm talking about. I like that, Beans. Beans not even of that generation, y'all. So come on, baby.
I'm here.
That's what's up.
I'm here. I'm present.
see you. And that would be, just so we're clear,
Queen Latifah.
Oh, he did that.
Unity. So we have these different members who are coming together like the freaking Avengers, like the Avengers of the hood.
Right.
Who's coming to town? There's some famous rappers coming to town that they're all excited about, which is
Eric B. and Rakim.
Eric B. and Rakim. They're all excited.
Which is my favorite dish, but without no money, it's still a wish. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, but so I'm saying, so they're very excited, and we see that one of the top drug lords, they see that everyone in town isn't feeling Crescent. They're not feeling Crescent because Crescent took out Ja's son, and everyone knows, everyone's furious. We saw how furious they were at the funeral.
Right.
So now, Homeboy has to see what he can do to make everyone in Staten Island / Park Hill like Crescent again.
Because Crescent said, you better make them like me.
Yeah, make them like me.
And
so
that's
he said,
his man.
Everyone's bumping to Rakim. We need to get Rakim out here.
Exactly.
And now Rakim comes out. There's a rap battle competition. And here we are. So now let's talk about this rap battle. We have ODB who's there.
Right.
Soon to be Jizza, Method Man, Ghostface. We have
Hi, Math.
Right.
Just saying.
We have
Hi, Dave East.
It's
like the best of both worlds, having them beat each other.
Right. That's kind of funny because me and Dave East has the same birthday, random.
Is that right?
But Raekwon is
Raekwon the chef is Ja.
Yeah, he's Ja, but he's up in VIP. So he's not able to rap because he's still being super druggy, bad guy. But everybody else is very excited about it. How do you feel about this scene?
Oh, I loved it. The whole build up of it was great. I didn't know where it was going to go, so that was even better. I hate when I watch a scene and I'm just like, I already know where this is headed. You know what I mean? Not hate, but it makes it fun when I'm just like, I have no idea. So yeah, it was dope to see them come out one at a time. I kind of expected that meeting of the minds to happen prior to them going on stage. So again, this is great information, right? This kind of gives you a picture and some background in terms of how this all came to be. So I like that they all went out there on their own. ODB kind of surprised me because he's such a clown. Like he's just kind of on the fringes of things. He shows up, he co-signs whatever you do, and then he kind of steps back. It's not really like he has a place in terms of staking his claim to anything. So it was good to see him go out there and do his thing.
Yeah, he actually had bars too. Like the crowd responded to him. I said, oh, like I was kind of expecting him to not necessarily be super silly,
right?
But when he dropped bars right outside the funeral when he was drinking, he was like, oh, what you doing with that liquor? Chill out. And then his girl kind of gassed him up. He had some bars, and then when he went on stage and he did his thing and the crowd responded the way that they did, I'm like, okay, like maybe this is when the spark flared within RZA. And then we saw everybody else do their thing. But when it was time for RZA to go on stage, You see, it was bad. The tape
was
jammed.
that?
It was just a lot
It
going
was
on.
horrible.
And then he was talking about, he took him to science class. He talking about sperm cells because I was half a sperm. And then it was just the tail. And then when the tail swam, I became 2. And I beat the rest of the sperm cells. So that makes me resilient. And then,
Exactly. And I survived. You're like,
everybody in the crowd was like, first he's like, clap your hands, everybody. So I'm like, okay, he taking him somewhere.
Right.
But then when he went up there and said what he said, I'm like,
I was so confused.
come on, bro. Like bring us back.
And then, of course, I gave it the thought, like, okay, are they making sure that we understand that he's like deeper than we'll ever be?
Right, like
is that what's happening right now? Like he established that, listen, I'm a genius.
I'm on a different level.
I'm on a whole different level. Y'all not ready for this. You'll never be ready for this. 20 years from now, y'all will still be talking about this.
You know what? Maybe that's what it was.
I mean, what else could it be, right?
Because RZA was one of the writers of the show, so he probably was like, look, even though, like, if you was to ask somebody else, they probably was like, no, he went up there and stung it up, or whatever. Right. He went up there and said some weird stuff. But he was like, nah, I remember exactly what I said.
Exactly.
This is what I was talking about. So you can clearly tell everybody wasn't on the same vibration as me, because this is where I was, and I was only 17. And this, he was like,
exactly.
Bro,
like,
we was there.
I started this whole thing. I created this movement.
Right.
And this was the birth child. I know y'all wasn't ready for it. Y'all still not ready for this crazy.
But I'm going to put it in this show.
Right.
Just to let y'all know, if y'all were in the crowd that day.
Exactly.
This is what I was talking.
Where I was going with it.
This is where I was going.
Because I'm a genius.
Right. But,
and that he is.
And that he is.
So.
That is a genius. So, I mean, you can't take that away. But I thought that was very funny. So now here they are. Mm-hmm. We have Ghostface. Oh, I'm sorry, Dennis for people. We have Dennis, Shotgun, G, who's going to be Jizza, RZA, ODB, and
Meth.
Yes, it was Method Man, yeah, Shotgun. So we have them all together because now the Jamaican crew from Brooklyn goes up there, do their thing.
That was so corny.
Right.
It was such a setup.
With
like,
the velour.
Okay, we already knew what it was.
Right.
That was like the puffy Sean John suit before the Sean John suit.
Right.
I mean, we get it. We already knew it was a setup. Like, there's no way that he was going to really give them cats $5,000.
Oh, absolutely not.
So the fact that he slid them in there like that was just kind of corny. But at least he let everybody rock and it appeared, give everybody an opportunity to outshine each other.
Right. So he created this fake platform for everybody to come out, so for good publicity for him. He gave it to his peoples. But at that same time, we see that Bobby D is like, y'all can say all this could have happened, this should have happened, they got paid under to whatever, but they had unity. They came all together, and we the illest out.
Right.
So we need to kind of like, I feel like they're about to put rings up in the sky and just kind of turn into
Wonder Twin Powers activate.
Turn into a phoenix or something,
and rise from the ashes.
Right. So I was like, okay, this is cool.
Yeah.
Because you're seeing the glare and the spark in all their eyes because they're giving each other their flowers. You did your thing. You did your thing. RZA?
I don't know about what you was doing up there, RZA, but you still our man.
Right. So I really enjoyed that scene.
Yeah, so did I, because that was the very beginning.
Yes.
That was when the whole jump off began, and the fact that they were willing to hear RZA out and see how that could possibly happen. I mean, standing there's not even all the members of the group, and it was still like 6 of them.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's a lot of cats.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I enjoyed that as well.
And then at the end of that scene, we see that Ra comes down and tells him, like, yo, bro, you were saying some stuff up there. Which was probably something they organized in the writer's room. Whatever. But you could tell he wanted to be down there, too.
Yeah,
But he's still so caught up in the streets and the beeper. He has to stay in a trap house now, which at first you could tell he was happy to be off of the roof.
Of course.
But on the roof, it was still his safe haven.
Exactly.
He still had his space. If he wanted to just look into the sky, fantasize, imagine whatever, a better world, he had that opportunity. But it's kind of like he's still being controlled being in that crib because he has to check for the fiends.
He knew it was going to come with a price, though. There's no way that he thought like, listen, I like that there's an allegiance there. I like that it's kind of made to feel like a very loosely based family.
Right.
But let's be clear. This is a business.
Right.
And I don't care if we grew up together from Sandbox, yo. We out here to make money.
Right.
So I'm placing you in a position that betters you financially, personally, but overall, it has to benefit me. The bottom line has to be that you making me more profitable or more popular or more whatever I'm trying to achieve from this, because otherwise what is the point? I can do it by myself. I don't need to put you on my back just because I'm a cool dude. You know what I mean? I'm not going to have you running around talking about I'm soft, I just held you down. I'm not your girl. I ain't got to do nothing for you. I'm doing this for you because I know you can do something for me.
Right.
So here's the room. That's right. All of these
There's
ends,
the bed, the TV, all that.
And when you open this door right here, all these N-word people
Right.
are out here chilling, you know what I mean? And you're going to be doing business with them.
Regulate,
That's how we doing it. You running this. Lucky you. Not only do you get a crib for free, but you get to be, you know what I'm saying? HNIC.
Closer to work. It's a shorter commute for you.
Exactly. Lucky you. You ain't got to worry about that no more.
You ain't got to worry about traffic. You ain't about, it's closer to you to work.
There you go.
That's funny. And you know what I also just thought about in his breath too, as far as like unity?
Yeah.
Let's talk about Divine and, you know, him being incarcerated, because we have the jail that's basically heavily Brooklyn based.
Mm-hmm.
And first you have Staten Island versus Staten Island, and they're both Park Hill too. You know what I mean? They're both Park Hill, but everybody's just beefing. And I'm not sure if that person in jail, the one who stood up rapping, if he's going to be one of the members. I think that might be Inspector Deck.
What?
I think because they're both from Park Hill and he rapped. And I'm thinking the writers probably snuck that in. And I know a couple of the members were incarcerated at some point.
Right.
So that's just my little random thing.
Okay.
But as we can see, they're just in there. And then Brooklyn is like, I don't care where y'all from, Staten Island, whatever, this Brooklyn house.
Right. This is my house specifically.
Right.
That's my phone. This is how we going to do this thing moving forward. Just so everybody knows who's playing what game with who. I run this.
Right.
But you already knew that was about to... They kill me with those scenes, right? It seems like there's always one of those scenes
like
in every
the super
show.
tough
Right.
jail
They come
dude,
in like, yo,
this is my stuff.
I got this. Everybody sit down. I'm taking over. No guy's ever, and it's always a fight because what guy's going, oh, well, thank God you arrived.
Right.
I'll just be over here in the corner if you need me.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's time to pop off. It's basically what you're saying.
Yeah, that's funny. But you see, Divine was on top of it. He just kept walking away every opportunity he got. Like, look, we outnumbered. Because though Divine is very... You know, street-based, he's smart.
He's strategic.
He's very strategic. He used the books to basically cover his main arteries, so when they were poking each other up, he was protected.
Exactly.
And then that same breath, when the riot did start, he took that opportunity to protect another Staten Island person because he said, look, people look at our borough as like whatever, like we just like the smallest thing, like nobody even pays us any attention. So though we can be outside Stapleton versus Park Hill or Killer Hill,
when we in here, we together.
Yes.
Yeah, we gotta be.
Yeah, so I like how he kind of organized that and just said like, look, like we need to. So I'm not sure what they're going to do in the next following episodes.
Because remember, homeboy asked him like, "Why you help me out back there?" And he was like, put stuff in perspective, bruh. We can fight all day when we out there because we have the means to do so. But when we're in here, we have limited tools. Yeah. So we have to band together if we want to survive. No, it just makes sense.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I thought that was very like, I don't know, I guess clever with the whole unity thing. And I'm just seeing certain pieces come together, which I can't really pinpoint yet, but I thought that was strategically placed in that episode.
For sure.
You know
so good job.
Yeah, so now let's transition into our last topic, which is the black woman and how the black woman played a major part in, you know, these past couple of episodes. So now let's start with the mother. Yeah. Let's start with Divine's and Bobby D's mother. How do you feel as though she played a major part in just everything that's going on?
Let me just say one more time, shout out to Erica Alexander. She's killing this role, and I knew she would. It's good to see her on screen again. It saddens me, to be quite honest with you. It saddens me a lot. Like, I'm the mother of a son,
right?
And we moved here when he was only 3.
Okay.
So, I was never afraid. We grew up in I made sure we lived in the valley the whole time of his formidable teenage years and all that. So I wasn't worried about like some gang snatching him up or whatever and him being involved in that because I made sure I stayed on top of his goings and comings in that arena. But I'm from DC and I know what that life is like times 10. I was exposed to it. I guess what I'm saying is it saddens me that she has to, in her mind, in order to survive, turn a blind eye to something that she knows can be detrimental.
Right. She
is so concerned with making sure that her babies are home that she's willing to do whatever it takes.
Right.
She is so willing to make sure that bills are paid that she's willing to that she ignores how the bills are getting paid.
Right.
Or what how this will affect her family in the long run.
Right.
You know, and that saddens me. I mean, I feel like that's the plight of a lot of black mothers. That either, okay, I'm gonna stand up and be like, this ain't right. You want to sell drugs? Get out of my house. Then how do you make rent? You know what I mean? Like, a part of you is saying, yes, I don't want my child out there in the streets. Obviously, not only is he doing horrible things to our community by selling the drugs right back to our black brothers and sisters, but he stands the chance of being shot, killed, maimed, hospitalized, and locked up.
Right.
So she knows where it's going, possibly, but the fact that she can't really, it's like he don't respect her at all. You know what I mean? He calls, he might say 2 words to his mother before he be like, let me speak to Bobby.
Right.
That's not a mom. Like, and then what really kills me is that she's still, because she is the mom, she's still the matriarch. So nobody eats until he calls, still set a place for him even though he's not going to be here.
She's giving him like father duties, it's kind of like the same thing, like make sure, you know, the laundry is done, everything like that. The food is on the table by the time daddy gets home.
Exactly.
It's like that type of feel. And speaking about what you just said, it also unlocked something in my mind, because that's how she's operating. But at the funeral, when she was speaking, she's like, you gotta stop killing each other, X, Y, and Z. But it kind of contradicts itself, because your son is pumping the things into the community, and that same thing is what's sparking this rage within the community.
But that's what we do, unfortunately. You know what I mean? It is a contradiction. It's a huge hypocritical thing. But that's like under the guise in which we operate, because what else can we do?
Right.
If you're going to be that peacemaker and say nobody deserves to die, we're killing each other, you know, these are our sons and our babies, we shouldn't have to do this, then really do it. You know what I mean? Start staging sit-ins, start talking to your local council people, making sure that police presence is more reliable, more often.
Okay.
Those are things that you do to make sure that you get the drugs out of the community and that you keep your kids safe in that respect. She can't afford to do that. So even though these horrible things are happening as a result of stuff that she's not necessarily proud of or wanting to be a part of, she has to kind of play the fence in the field. You know what I mean? Because how else is she going to feed her family and I don't want to say appear to be a good mom, like she's not a good mom. She's a good mom. She just is put in a situation where she has to be both. Yeah. And it's sad. And she's what I've also noticed about her, she's definitely being portrayed as like a healer, because with the speech that she gave at Jason's funeral, she basically said we gotta stop killing each other, blah blah blah, this is our community. And you could tell it ignited something in a lot of them, like soft spot. Like they were like, damn, like we really are killing each other. Was it worth it? Because clearly this guy was well loved, but they're all still like teenagers, so they just kind of like, damn, like we got to figure it out. Right. So I like that scene, and I also liked when Dennis had a lot of rage, he flipping tables and things like that, and she went to go speak to him. That was powerful. This was an opportunity for her to basically say like, yeah, you messed up, blah blah blah, but she was just kind of like, you're angry, but I'm still gonna make you a plate. I'm still going to do this for you. You know, the fact that he came by even after the fact and apologized and he put the miss on it, it means he's been raised right. He just, I mean, I think they all have the basics fundamentally of being good people, all of them, whether they get it from their parents or deep within or their higher power, wherever they're drawing their strength from. But they're put in circumstances where they don't have a choice but to react in certain ways. This is the only way these people know how to survive. And I think that's the saddest part, not to get super deep about it, but the realness is society wants to paint this picture that these is all heathens and that they come from, you know, that they're subhumans and they're animals and they don't have any intelligence and they don't have the ability to know right or to make good decisions about right and wrong. It's not that. They are literally pigeonholed into situations where it's fight or flight. You either going to be out there doing your thing or you going to, you know, desert all of your people and go out there and fend for yourself, and then what? You the next crack fiend. You know what I mean? Now you're not selling it, you're using it just to be able to cope with everyday life. It's real, yo. And it's heavy. And it's a lot of pain. You can see there's a lot of pain, a lot of unaddressed pain, a lot of unaddressed trauma that goes on in the black community, especially inside of each and every one of these kids. Whether it's from the beatings from back in the day, the flashbacks, or the things that you face just walking out your door. And I think that's why
we have Bobby D, who uses the basement as like his safe space, because that's the only time where he can like really be present in the moment when he's blasting music in his ears and blocking out everything else. And then we have Dennis, who just flipped the table, very angry on the steps. And here comes his girlfriend, who just basically make sure the coast is clear.
Right.
And then she comes over, and her just rubbing her hand on his back, we see him become vulnerable. Because,
so soothing.
You know what I mean?
I just love them together. Because I kept expecting, because it started out as just sex.
Right.
So I thought it was one of them like teenage, he just comes through, bangs her out, leaves, yada, yada. He genuinely cares about her, obviously, her well-being. And she is super mature for her age. I guess she has to be. She's helping raise her little brother almost as her son.
Right.
And she takes the high road, and she knows how to cook. She's totally self-sufficient.
She's responsible,
pretty,
doing her homework.
She's responsible. Exactly. She holds her little brother down, and even tries to hold, Bobby D down too. You know what I mean? And give him what he deserves in terms of love and light and encouragement or whatever. So yeah, I really like her character, and I like the fact that, as you said, he allows himself to be vulnerable and genuinely care about her and show her that, and not like be like, yeah, you my shorty or whatever, but only when I say, oh, you know how y'all do.
Right.
You know how y'all do.
I think it's funny. Because we find out that both his brothers have muscular dystrophy.
Right.
But they're still very, funny.
Oh, they're hilarious.
So when, she came over to Dennis's house, she saw the notebook and everything, and she's kind of giving them that confidence, like, no, this is what you need to lean into. Which a lot of powerful black women do. They see something within you, they kind of want you to raise to your highest potential. So I thought that was a very potent scene. Like, look, like, I know you got all this stuff going on out in the streets, but this is what I want you to really lean into. And then you got his brother basically who wants to be funny, like, does Bobby D know you boning his sister?
I love that line, right? That was
funny.
too cute.
Because it kind of like brought him down, like, let's take whatever. You could be the super tough guy outside of here, but I'm still your little brother.
Exactly, and I'm going to come for you because this hilarious.
Right.
And I bet Bobby don't know nothing about this.
Right, but I know.
Exactly.
But I know. So I thought that,
that's
that was
what we
dope.
do.
Yeah.
As women in general, I'm of the belief that because we have to be twice as hard as you guys, we get it. You're the tough ones. You go out and kill and bring it home, and we cook it. What you fail to realize is we give you the back rub, the proverbial back rub, to be able to go out there and kill.
Right.
Like, without our support, I think a lot of times guys fall short, or they're kind of lost in terms of what their purpose or their designated situation should be.
Right.
So yeah, I love the fact that the mom shows up in the way that she knows how. That's all she know how to do. I want to support my son. I'm the mom. You gonna do what the hell I say. I'm running things around this piece. But for real, he is, because he's the breadwinner. But I'm going to keep painting that picture. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm going to keep giving you the impression that everything has to go through me in order for it to be okay, because I am the mother. You're not about to just take that from me.
Right.
And then we have this woman, as we said, the young girl. She's super mature. She's able to support.
She's kind of forced to be that mature, because mom is always at work.
Exactly.
And how often do we see that happening? Mom is at work 12
That's what it is.
plus hours a day. So now she has to pick up the slack of her little brother. She has to make sure that Bobby D gets to school on time. She has to just make sure that she's present. But you can tell she's also trying to be like a grown woman as well.
Exactly. And I'll say the only other prominent woman that I see or has shown up on screen more than one time, because those are the only two women that are kind of recurring, is ODB's girlfriend.
Yeah, his girlfriend. I was just about to say her.
And even she was like, so what you going to do with these rhymes? Like, what's about to happen? You know what I'm saying? We talking about it. Y'all a good talker. But I've actually heard you spit. What's good?
Right.
Like, when are we actually going to move this forward?
Right.
So even she is extremely encouraging, and she
Absolutely.
knows how to come behind not only her man, but his friends, and say, y'all need to stop playing. When y'all going to get on top of it? Because I don't know if you know, but Tribe just put something out.
Right, people getting money. Like, people getting money out here.
Just got folks is getting that coin. What you gonna do?
Right.
Yeah, I think that's.
And you
dope.
see G walk off like, man, I gotta go do something. I'm about to go right
10
down.
grand.
Right.
Tribe.
Right.
Oh, come on.
I think it was 100. I think it was 100K.
I think it was 100K, because 5. They was only offering 5 to thing, and I was thinking that's a little bit of money.
They got 100K for an advance or whatever like that. So that money, because from watching the documentary, I think RZA said it. He said he was flourishing internally, like as an intellect, but economically he was still, being sunken down to the ground.
That's
so
right.
he knew he had to like make some type of like elevation within himself. Like,
that's right.
Economically, I need to elevate, and that's what I feel like. they're trying to portray now him still kind of being like the point guard, thinking back like, let me piece this together. Yeah, we got to come together because we're only as strong as the next person, and divided we fall. Divided we fall, and I think he's doing a great job at just wanting to put things down brick by brick while also understanding that he is an artist.
Yeah.
You know, so I thought that was very powerful.
And I think the fact that he underscores his artistry despite whatever else is going on, that's where he always goes back to. I think that's pretty powerful as well.
Absolutely.
Like no matter what fray, I can always put on my headphones and retreat into my world and become bigger than all of this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not absorb it, not allow. I can just deflect.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's pretty dope.
I thought that was very dope. Do you have any last comments about these past couple episodes?
I'm enjoying the ride, bruh. I really like the show. I'm glad that they did put this together. I thought I knew the Wu. You know what I mean? It's always nice to be reintroduced to a subject matter that you feel like you're already privy to, that you already hip to, and just getting all the details and stuff. Yeah, I love it.
Now I thought they did a great job these first 3 episodes as far as like laying out the brickwork and kind of introducing people who don't know much about Wu-Tang. Just give them a sprinkle of what these black men in the inner city of Staten Island in the early 90s were going through and how they became as massive as they became, which they'll see on later episodes.
Of course.
So let's transition into news and gossip.
Aight.
Oh. So, and with news and gossip, there was an article out by IndieWire that came out yesterday titled Wu-Tang and American Saga Review, Hulu's scripted series is slow burn origin story. And what they're basically saying is that there's a documentary out called Wu-Tang Clan of Mics and Men that gives a more thorough description of everything that's going on between the Wu-Tang Clan members and how they became who they became. So this show isn't doing the most accurate job at that. But at the end of the day, I personally think that they're doing an amazing job because you can't put everything within an hour. And the documentary gave a 4-part series, an hour each, basically giving you every pinpoint of how they became who they became. So if you want to check out different news and gossip to see what people are saying about Hulu's Wu-Tang and American Saga, you can check it out. But yes, that's all we have. There's a couple different articles, but everyone's saying the same thing. They feel as though the documentary was more thorough than what they're showing in the show. But I mean, what do you expect?
They're coming from 2 different vantage points altogether.
Right.
A documentary is supposed to document the things that actually went down verbatim, piece by piece, and all that. So it's going to be more thorough. It's going to be more fleshed out for the record. Obviously, but I mean, it's a story to be told, right? So I'm enjoying it. I think it's dope.
Likewise.
Yeah, definitely. So before I move on real quick, because it's time for
Who is Wu, the special segment.
Already. This is our special segment called Who is Wu? Ooh, baby, I like it raw. So, real quick, because we got a couple of people in our chat room. Quiet Mind says this saga is fire. And I have to agree. We agree wholeheartedly. All right?
Fire.
And intro El Chileno.
Okay.
All right. He says, are you going to show the series soon? I'm from Australia and I can't wait. I think you're a little confused about what we're doing here. We don't show the series. Hulu actually shows the series and then we talk about the series. But I'm glad that you're in our chat room. Thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully you watch and then you can listen to what we have to say about it and engage.
So, can I ask you something?
Of course you can.
What exactly is Who is Wu?
It's a special segment that we've chosen to highlight every week. We're going to talk about one of the members because there are so many members in the group. We're good. We're covered. Like, we won't run out of people. This week is ODB. This is the notorious Old Dirty Bastard. His birth name is Russell Tyrone Jones. For those of you that did not know, I did not know that prior to reading it. And just so we know, there's lots of AKAs with this guy. ODB, Old Dirty Bastard, Unique, Ason, Joe Bananas, Dirt McGirt, Dirt Dog, Osiris, Big Baby Jesus, and Old Dirty Chinese Restaurant. All right, so this guy's amazing. If you don't know, now you know. That he was not only a rapper, but a producer as well. He's one of the founding members of Wu-Tang Clan. Obviously, they started in New York City, and his mainstream prominence grew with the 1993 debut album, Enter the Wu-Tang 36 Chambers. So he is originally from Fort Greene section of Brooklyn. I did not know that. I thought he was a Staten Island guy as well. I think he was born in Brooklyn and then they moved later on to Staten Island. In terms of his music career, I knew that he had solo albums, but I didn't know like to what degree. Everybody knows this guy because he kind of rapped and sing long before Ja Rule did it.
Right.
And he just was over the top. A lot of people weren't sure if this was like who he was, all this erratic behavior and his style, and just kind of, I mean, look at him. He's a little off. Right? He's not mainstream at all, but that's what he played to. His strengths were in kind of being non-committal to the norm and people not being able to tell if he was coming or going. So a lot of times people were like, is this really who he is? And then unfortunately he dibbled and dabbled in a lot of drugs, and that is how he died. Unfortunately, he ingested cocaine, lethal amounts of it, along with a prescription drug that he was taking. So that is unfortunate that because his road was so rocky, you know what I mean? He was an instrumental part of the group, but then he dropped out and did his own thing. This is a great guy. ODB, we do really respect you. RIP, brother. We really wish you were still here to be able to celebrate. I know Wu-Tang misses you. He had lots of legal issues that he got involved in, but his discography, how do you say that? Discography. Is that it? Oh. I'm saying it wrong. But the point is that he's done some big thing. Return to the 36 Chambers, Dirty Version. He had an album called Nigga Please. And then a posthumous, that's wrong too. I'll get it together. Studio album called A Sun Unique. So we're highlighting ODB tonight. This is a great guy. We're sorry that he's no longer with us, but he definitely made his mark on the world. And it's all about the Wu. Right. It's all about the Wu. So thanks for that Who is Wu section today. We're all out of time, but thanks for tuning in tonight to the Wu-Tang and American Saga After Show. I'm your host, Chef Beans. You can find me on all social media platforms at Chef_Beans with a Z. And where can they find you? My name is Kitty Kaboom. Please find me on IG at just that, KITTIEKABOOM. Facebook, I'm Kitty Kali. And on Twitter, Kitty Meow. Okay, perfect. Well, see you on Wednesday at 6 o'clock. Bye, y'all. Thanks so much for coming. Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.